This is Volusia Today, a public information radio program brought to you by the County of Volusia. Here is your host, Kevin Captain.
Good morning and welcome to Volusia Today. I'm Kevin Captain, the county's Community Information Director, and today I'm joined by co-host and Public Information Officer David Hunt. Thank you so much for tuning in this morning. Volusia Today is made possible by our sponsors, the Daytona Beach International Airport, the Ocean Center, Volusia Recycles, and Votran Public Transportation. Dave, good morning.
Good morning, Kevin. How's it going?
It's going good. You know, the other day I walked out on the way to work, walked out of my front door, and I saw a rocket launch going off, and the sunrise was just, touching on the silhouette of the smoke plume, and I thought, wow, this is a great place to live.
And I saw that same rocket going off. I was going swimming before work with my daughter, and it was 5:30 in the morning, and we walk outside, and my daughter just stops, and she goes, "Dad, do you hear the birds chirping?" She's just so excited, and so it's all new to her, waking up at 5:30 in the morning and listening to the birds and just the whole experience. We get down to the pool deck, rockets going off, and I had the same thought as you, like, wow, we are so lucky to live in Volusia County. It's a beautiful place. But it takes work to keep our county beautiful, and
it sure does.
It takes attention and work to keep our county beautiful.
And with today's show, Dave, it's a great topic to segue into. We've got Christie Miller. Christie Miller is the volunteer coordinator. We've had her on the show before, and she wears many hats. And another great person who also wears a lot of hats is Jennifer Winters. You have a lot of titles, Jennifer. I know you're protected species manager, you're activity project manager. You work very closely with the Habitat Conservation Plan, which I hope we get to talk about today. You guys both do so much for environmental management and keeping Volusia clean and beautiful. In fact, you have an event coming up that's in regards to coastal cleanup. Tell us about it, Christie.
We do. We have the International Coastal Cleanup that's coming up on September 17th. And this is a day not just in Volusia County, not just in Florida, but it happens all over the world. It's a day when everybody dedicates to cleaning up the coastline. And of course, Volusia County is going to participate this year, and we do every year. It is September 17th. And there are 22 different locations in Volusia County, and those are both beach locations as well as river locations. And the idea is to get out there and clean up the coast and really make a difference for the county. And we do it every year. Last year, we had 1,300 some people out there, and we got close to 5,000 pounds of trash last year. We're going to beat it this year. But the whole idea is to get out there and clean up. And registration is going on right now. And the first 1,000 people that register get a t-shirt. So I encourage you to get out there and register, pick your location, and join us on the 17th. We start at 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., and we'll clean up those coastlines and make it beautiful.
I've seen the t-shirt. It looks good. I know Dave's going to be signing up.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be signing up. I love free t-shirts. Where can people find out about the locations and where to sign up for that?
It's on the website. If you go to volusia.org, you'll see the International Coastal Cleanup and one of the banners across the top. If you don't, type it in the search bar, put in Coastal Cleanup. It'll take you right there. You'll see all the different locations, and you'll be able to register right on that website.
Well, it's amazing that we participate in that, and it's a nationwide effort. It's always good to clean up litter, to not litter, and to just really focus on keeping Volusia County clean and beautiful. And this is one great effort, but you have a lot of efforts that take place monthly that people can get involved in as well, right?
We do. We do beach cleanups after all the major holidays. So we do it after Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July coming up, Labor Day, of course. New Year's Day, Earth Day. So we focus on each of the holidays. We get out there and clean up the beach. And that is a Volusia County effort. That's smaller scale than this one on September 17th. But the idea is just to get out there, especially after the visitors come on the holidays, and just make sure we leave the beach really, really clean. So we do that for all of the major holidays. But people don't need to wait for a holiday to clean up. That anybody can go out and clean up the beach. And we use an app put out by the Ocean Conservancy, and it's called Clean Swell. And this is an app that you can download on your phone, go out on the beach any morning you want to, wake up with your daughter, go out there on the beach, and as you walk along, you just track on the app what it is you pick up, whether it's a plastic bottle, a bottle cap, a cigarette butt, and by the end of the walk, you calculate how many pounds of trash you've picked up, and then at the end, it tells you how far and how long you've walked, and then that data goes to the Ocean Conservancy, and it gets used for tracking trash internationally. So you're not only contributing to Volusia beaches being beautiful, you're contributing to research too. So it's a great opportunity.
That's amazing.
And we use that during the International Coastal Cleanup. We'll use that app also, so we're contributing to the data.
And there's just something about those analytics. I wear the Garmin watch, so when I work out, I love being able to see what I've done, how much I've accomplished in that period of time. I'm sure it's the same with the Clean Swell app and the cleaning up of the beaches. That's an amazing piece of technology in addition to the efforts. And so we talked about a little bit of beach cleanups, but there's also a lot of other events that you participate in that people can learn about our environment and also maybe remove some fishing line.
It is. We do all kinds of programs. So we do have jetty cleanups that we do regularly, and there's the underwater component where the county employees dive under the water and remove the monofilament fishing line from the jetties. And then I'm on the jetty with the ambassadors, and we remove fishing line and trash from the jetty. And the idea is to reduce entanglement, because we see a lot of times with wildlife, they get entangled in fishing line. We've got the dolphins and the manatees, they get entangled, sea turtles and birds. So by removing fishing line, then we're reducing the entanglement risk. And our department has a whole monofilament recycling program. There's over 200 recycling bins at different fishing piers all throughout the county. And you can volunteer to adopt one of those bins, and that's where you remove the fishing line, clean it out, and then recycle that fishing line. So not only is it not out there for entanglement, but then it gets recycled. So it's a great program.
You know, I've seen those around the county. They're those 4-inch or even bigger types of PVC, and anybody who fishes, you know, we all get those snags and the lines break, and if you have that line, throw it in there and get it to trash. Because we've had Chad on the show here would talk about some of the turtles and even pelicans and cormorants and all sorts of animals that get entangled in those, and unfortunately some succumb to the injury.
They do. Entanglement's a huge risk. If a bird gets it around the beak, then they can't eat. If a manatee gets it around a flipper, it can cut off circulation and they can lose their flipper. Dolphins, the same thing with their fins. It can be a serious thing. You wouldn't think a skinny piece of fishing line can do so much damage, but it really can.
But it's strong, for sure.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we could just talk this whole segment about just your efforts, because there's some storm drain marking that goes on. It's all over the county. You're consistently working, educating, cleaning. It's your job, and on your off time, you volunteer as well. So you're practicing what you preach. You're out there doing it. Your weekends are volunteering as well. So environmental is so vast. Like I said, we could talk this whole show about just what you do, but can we just talk a little bit about the environmental division and all the different aspects and all the different things y'all are doing from every day to broad range, but just all the different aspects of the environmental division?
Sure. There's a lot of different things that we do, like you said, from water quality monitoring to protected species management, and that's one of the big things that I do in my position is protected species management. So in addition to those cleanup efforts, we also do rescue efforts and monitoring efforts for any of those animals that may get entangled, for example, the dolphins or manatees. We have a marine mammal stranding team, so we actually have trained employees who can be first responders in the event that animals are injured along the beach or any of our coastal waterways. We'll get out there and we'll try to initiate a response if needed. Or a good example is we had a herd of mating manatees this week down in Daytona Beach,
Wow.
just north of the Main Street Pier. There was 10 manatees, one female with a lot of male pursuers, and they chased her sort of onto the shoreline. And none of the manatees were injured or in any sort of danger, but there was hundreds of people on the beach. And so we went out and we stood out there with the manatees and just talked to people all afternoon to educate them on what was happening. Because of course the first instinct is for people to push the animals back into the water, and so we were there to say, well, actually, this female needs to take a break, and and what's happening is normal, and that sort of thing. So that's one of the big things that we do. In addition, we have a habitat conservation plan which focuses on our sea turtle protection efforts along the beach. Which we can talk more about, but we are having a record high sea turtle nesting season this year. I jokingly say we're setting a new record every day. We have over 1,300 sea turtle nests, and that's more than we've ever counted in Volusia County.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Going back to the manatee team, you also had some rescues recently in the last 1 or 2 weeks, and that's you also work with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission on those efforts as well. Tell us about what a rescue looks like.
Well, it's usually we get a call about a manatee that looks like it's in distress, and sometimes it's from our volunteers that we also work with to train to help us identify manatees in distress. And we did have an animal that was injured by a boat. It had a boat strike injury down in the Mosquito Lagoon area. And we had gotten reports for a couple days. We had team members go out and kind of assess the situation, which it's difficult because, sometimes these rescue efforts take a couple days because we have to identify the animal and then get a team together. So the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, they usually lead the efforts. We work under their direction. And this individual animal that was just rescued last week was re-identified. It was down in the Bethune Beach area by JB's Fish Camp. And a team went out and they were able to net capture the animal and get it to the rehab at SeaWorld.
Wonderful. Well, we're talking with Christie Miller and Jennifer Winters with the county's Environmental Management Division. We'll take a quick break and come back and we'll talk more about environmental management. Stay with us.
Volusia County is our home. If we don't respect it, who will? Litter is a problem, one that we can solve. But it's going to take all of us working together. Did you know that Volusia County has several programs and events that can help keep our coastal environment clean and litter-free? You can become a jetty ambassador, participate in a waterway or coastal cleanup, utilize a fill-a-bag station, organize a beach cleanup, or adopt a beach. I walk the beaches every day. I see the pollution that's around, and I want to make it better, and each and every one of us have a part in this. We have receptacles everywhere in Volusia County. Make sure you use them. That's why they're here. The problem is serious, and one we have created. Well, you don't have to go far from the beach to see the effects of it. You can come right here to our Marine Science Center and see our turtles and our birds and the effects that it takes on them. Many of them were suffering from being caught or entangled in fishing line and gear left in the environment, or ingesting litter and trash such as plastic bags and balloons. This can lead to severe injury or even death. What matters is that we all do our part to fix it. Don't be a litter butt, and pick up litter when you see it. Every litter bit counts. It is up to all of us to teach all of them to what? Keep Volusia litter-free. Keep Volusia beautiful.
We're back. I'm Dave Hunt along with Kevin Captain, and you're listening to Volusia Today, a public information program brought to you by the County of Volusia.
Thanks, Dave. We're talking environmental management in Volusia County today. We've got two great guests. We've got Jennifer Winters. She's the Activity Project Manager and Protected Species Manager for Environmental Management, and Christie Miller, who is the Volunteer Coordinator with all those many volunteer events that we have here in Volusia County. So, Jennifer, we know Volusia County has a unique part about it to be able to drive on our beaches. 47 miles of a beautiful coastline, and you know, a portion of those we can still drive on, but we're able to do that because of that habitat conservation plan and the intake permit. Tell us exactly like how all that works.
Okay. Volusia County has a federally issued permit from the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. It's called the Incidental Take Permit. And what it allows is a otherwise lawful activity to happen. So beach driving has been happening here in Volusia County basically since the invention of the automobile. And that's something that is, something that's very passionate for people here that we want to continue to allow happen. But we need to balance that with the protection of our environment and our animals that are using that environment. And so the county has developed what's called a habitat conservation plan. So having the permit, it allows us to continue beach driving with the permissions to follow our habitat conservation plan. So the plan outlines all the ways that we try to protect our endangered species. The highlighted species is sea turtles, which nest on our beaches between May and October. And so we have a lot of things in place to help protect the sea turtles. And for example, our beach driving hours changed between those months. We allow the public to come on after 8 a.m. after that sea turtle nesting survey is done, and then we clear our beaches at 7 p.m. to basically allow ourselves to do some cleanup before the turtles start coming in to nest after dark. And one of those things is raking the vehicle ruts in front of the nests. So we have, over 1,000 nests on the beach right now, and hundreds of those are in the driving area. And when those nests hatch, those little hatchlings, they're only a couple inches long, and if they encounter vehicle ruts, especially in those soft sand areas where the ruts can be, over 12 inches deep, those hatchlings can get trapped. And so we are, responsible for going out and smoothing the beach so they have a safe path to the ocean.
Interesting.
And that's stuff that we can do as well, because a lot of people don't think about it. But like you said, the little baby turtles are just trying to make it to the ocean.
Yes.
So what are some of the other things that people can do as they visit the beach?
Well, of course, cleaning up after themselves is a big thing. We do also have a beach recreational furniture ordinance where we ask people to take their equipment off of the beach. Not only is it an obstacle for people walking on the beach when it's dark, they can't see something, they may trip over it, but as the female nesting turtles are coming in, they can encounter the equipment, they can get entangled in those tent lines and stuff like that. So that's one big thing that we ask people to do, especially when they're coming down in the condos for a week long. It's easy for them to leave their equipment out, but it really does pose a problem. It's amplified when hundreds of people start doing it. In addition, we have a sea turtle lighting ordinance where we also educate people on how to properly light their properties without illuminating the beach to keep it safe for sea turtles, but also to keep it safe for the property owners.
It doesn't seem like a big deal, but I know we've often educated on not digging holes. I mean, there's a lot of kids that will build sand castles and real cool stuff in the sand, but when they're done, it's important to level that off, because they get stuck in those.
Yes, it's exactly the kind of the opposite situation of something protruding from the top of the sand with the equipment. When you dig a hole, those little hatchlings can get trapped, and we've even had some instances around the state of Florida where we see adult turtles fall into these huge holes that people dig, that they'll bring shovels from their houses down, and it's a lot of fun. I've done it myself, but it's the best thing to do is just kind of sort of clean up after yourself after you're done with the beach for the day.
So speaking of hatchlings, you've got 1,300 you said nests? Amazing. So when will they start hatching, and how many different can we say species of types of turtles that we have of those 1,300?
Right. We have 3 species that commonly nest on our beaches. The loggerhead sea turtle is the most common. Green sea turtles are next. And then leatherbacks will be more rare. I think we have around 10 leatherback nests this year, just to sort of give you an idea. But our nests are hatching now. So the nesting started in May, and we've had, I think, over 300 nests already hatch. And we're counting, we're evaluating those nests. We've counted over 27,000 hatched eggs. And one cool thing we have going on this year is we've gone all to electronic data collection, and people can actually go to our website and see real-time data updates. And we're just getting ready to launch a new update to that page to show how many nests have been evaluated and kind of what the nest fates are and how many eggs we're counting. So it's really cool. It's just, if you go to VolusiaSeaTurtles.org, that's the first thing that'll pop up.
There you go, Dave. Metrics.
The metrics are good. It's a super cool dashboard, and definitely go and check it out. And we harp on this. We don't harp on this. We talk about this a lot because it is important. We're putting a lot of effort in, and we can all put a lot of effort in to make it a better experience, you could say, and a more successful experience for the turtles nesting on our beaches. Which kind of ties into some other stuff as we talk about beach driving and moving forward into the future. I look around and I see e-bikes everywhere, and man, when I was growing up, those were not accessible. So the kids who are growing up right now and have access, it's just like we live in this wild future where rockets are going off in the air and everybody's riding electric bicycles, but that has an impact on the habitat conservation zone as well. Can you talk a little bit about that?
There was mono wheels too, I think.
Yeah,
right?
There's just so much awesome stuff out there.
So part of our habitat conservation plan, we have different areas of the county beaches that are kind of designated for different activities. And so we have our driving areas, and everybody knows where those are, the carports of Daytona Beach, down at the either side of the inlets. And those were designated initially with the plan because that's where we have our best habitat, where the most sea turtles are nesting. And since the inception of the plan, no motorized vehicles are allowed in those areas, and they're referred to as the natural beach management areas. And so over the course of the permit, it's been interesting for me because we've seen a lot of different technology, including another good example are segways. Okay. Probably 10 years ago or so, segways became really popular. And they started coming through the natural beach management areas in sort of high numbers. There was organized groups that were going through. And they are recognized as a motorized vehicle. And we've worked with the federal government. We had discussions about these different types of vehicles. And most recently, we did consult with them, and they concurred that e-vehicles are considered as motorized vehicles because they do travel at a high rate of speed, that they can be, recognized in that category. And so to comply with our permit, we enforce that no e-vehicles are allowed in those natural beach management areas. Some things that people don't think about that, I know from a perception is it's low impact, it's not going to harm anything. Well, this time of year, we're moving into washback season. When we start to get seaweed that's laid on the beach, there's a lot of things that could be found in the seaweed. And not only small organisms that the birds are eating, but we get a lot of washback sea turtles. And so those high-speed bicycles could, impact those turtles that get mixed in with the seaweed. So we really are pretty strict about the types of vehicles that are driving through those areas. And everybody that you see out there that's working on the beach, that drives through those areas, they have been Habitat Conservation Plan trained on how to minimize their impacts when they're going through those areas. So that's where the e-bike restrictions are coming
Interesting
from.
stuff. So you don't think of that when you're on the bike, right?
No, you don't. But at the end of the day, e-bikes can go where vehicles can go. Stay off the habitat conservation zone because there are negative effects. And same thing as do your part and fill your holes and do everything else you can do. We can all work together and just
and we do have about 17 miles of driving beach. So. Again, the plan is really a balance to try to, allow those activities throughout our beaches and sort of give an experience for everybody. Because some people really prefer to have that natural beach experience with no traffic whatsoever. Right. And that's what they're seeking out when they go into those areas.
That's the beauty. You get a combination of both,
exactly.
For sure. All right, well, we're talking with Christie Miller and Jennifer Winters with Environmental Management. We'll take our last break and come back and finish up Volusia Today. Stay with us.
Okay, why don't we go to the Marine Science Center?
Yeah! Are you looking for a new adventure? Come on down to the Marine Science Center in Ponce Inlet. Watch as our staff cares for sick and injured sea turtles. You can also explore our marine exhibits, touch some stingrays, visit our gift shop, and stroll through the Seabird Sanctuary. Afterward, you can visit the Ponce Inlet Lighthouse. The Marine Science Center is open every day but Monday.
Like the sign says, stash your trash. Whether ashore or afloat, in Volusia County, we want you to keep it clean. Make sure it's tied down in the boat. If it flies out, go back and get it safely. Ways you can get involved is coastal cleanups. Volusia County does a great job and has an outreach program where we do beach cleanups. We appreciate you doing that, keeping our waterways clean for our generation and future generations.
You can access Volusia County government online at volusia.org. Listen to county council meetings, pay for permits or tags, or search the property appraisers' databases. Volusia.org is your Volusia County government information resource.
We're back. I'm Dave Hunt along with Kevin Captain, and you're listening to Volusia Today, a public information program brought to you by the County of Volusia.
Thanks, Dave. It was interesting talking to Jennifer about the e-bikes, the mono wheels, and all those things, and we're really trying to message that.
Yeah, we're really trying to get the word out. We added the language to our beach brochures. We got signs up on the beach. We're really just trying to let people know because it is a little bit of a change, and a lot of people might not be aware, but the impact it can make if you do follow the rules and do it the right way, it can be super positive for all of us and all of the creatures that call our beaches home.
We all need to do the right thing there, for sure.
And then with that, you all, every time I send a news release out for beach safety or the coastal division, environmental is always included. I feel like your division works with a lot of other divisions within the county and state organizations. You all work with a lot of different people. Can you tell us about some of those relationships and how environmental division ties into a lot of these different things?
Sure. It does take a while to sort of wrap your brain around all the different organizations that we work with. The county is really unique in the way that we have all of these different things going on. So, as I mentioned, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, they're a big partner, and they're really the big umbrella of the organization that we work under as far as endangered species. And there's a lot of different things that are going on as far as county management. So there's things that people aren't even aware of every day. We have permits for things like ramp grading, and there's the Army Corps of Engineers who are looking at dredging our intercoastal waterway and then placing the sand on our beaches, which is a beneficial thing for the residents and the environment, but another activity that we have to do responsibly and follow permits and that sort of thing to do it. And so, of course, Coastal Division is a big partner in that, with the Florida Inland Navigation District involved. And like you said, I mean, we're there to consult and help guide those projects and those efforts to be done responsibly. Yeah.
So, Christie, in our last minute, we know on your time off, we know that you're out there volunteering both on the job and off the job, and it's so cool to see the passion that you have with really helping to keep Volusia beautiful. And Jennifer, same thing. I know you're around the clock too. What do you do when you get some time off?
I'm usually out in the environment somewhere in Florida. I just got back from the Keys a couple weeks ago, and I'm planning to go over to the Rainbow River this weekend. It's one of my favorite places in Florida where you can paddleboard, and it's just a beautiful spring-fed river. I like to camp and just get out there and see what's going on in other parts of Florida whenever I can.
And what I noticed talking with anybody in the environmental division, you all do the work, but you all are passionate. You all love what you do. You love the environment. It's so cool to see such a team of people who are so driven and passionate and have a true love for what they do on a daily basis and the impact that has on Volusia County as a whole. It's just awesome to see. Yeah. Thank you all so much for all that you do.
It is, and I can attest to that too. But thanks to Christie, she came out to our neighborhood and marked all the storm drains, and I think it's really making a difference because it's helping to heighten the awareness of people to clean those storm drains and make sure that the water that's going in there is clean, and it's all about awareness and doing the right thing. So thank you both for everything that you do for Volusia County. So with that, we'll close up today. That's Christie Miller and Jennifer Winters with Environmental Management. Have a great today. Take care, stay safe, and help your neighbors.
If you have a comment about Volusia Today, or if there is a topic you would like to hear featured, please contact Volusia County Community Information at 1-866-345-0345.